Hey Buffy fans, I am here to talk about season 4, episode 20, The Yoko Factor. I am slightly annoyed because I spent some time this morning before work recording an entire thoughts and feelings video. It was 10 minutes long. I spent my break at work editing the entire thing, and right before I was about to post it, something happened with the app, ate the entire video. It's not in drafts, it's nowhere to be found. Like, the entire file just disappeared. So I am re-recording everything. What fun! Anyways, maybe this video will be better than the one I recorded earlier. We're gonna tell ourselves that. So the Yoko Factor is a Spike-heavy episode, which I just have to say, I love Spike as a character now. I was not sold on him at first. In fact, I found him quite annoying, and I was a little bit hesitant to find him charming or to really see the point of his character in the show. And I am happy to say that I've completely changed my mind. I think he is a great addition to the show. You know what he reminds me of, or who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Crowley in Supernatural, in that he is like the trademark sort of hedonistic character who doesn't really have any empathy for anyone or anything around him, is only looking out for himself, is at a baseline level pretty evil, right? Will kind of torture and screw with people, places, and things just for the hell of it, just because he's bored and is his nature. But the defining factor that I think is like sort of the invisible thread between Crowley and Spike is that over time, very slowly, you see kind of cracks in their armor. You see them begrudgingly start to have some twisted form of affection for those he used to call enemies, and slowly starting to align himself in certain situations. Now, obviously still looking out for himself and only himself, but there's little instances where you're like, a little bit you care. A little bit you care, and I love a character like that's very interesting to watch. So I'm curious to see where Spike's arc goes overall. But right now he is sort of at the place where he's much needed comedic relief. It's not annoying yet. He has some of the best one-liners of the show. And I can see, well, I'm not even going to bury the lead here. I am already in season 5 right now of Buffy, filming this video. And there's a particular plot line that just came up that has me in stitches laughing. We're going to get to that in a later video. Speaking of Spike, at the top of the episode, we have some really interesting back and forth between Adam the Creature and Spike and how they both kind of relate to each other. Interesting parallels there. It's the scene that comes after that that I was just knocking my head into a wall, because Xander slips to Riley the whole situation, basically all of Angel's dirty laundry, which I knew Riley was going to have to figure this out at some point. I could not have guessed on any bingo card that it would have been Xander to spill the beans, but now that it's happened, I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense for Xander. He's got a big mouth and he doesn't know when to shut it. I'm sure that will have no repercussions, right? Right. We also get Giles singing again, which any instance we get Giles singing is a good one. I don't care what the point of it is. I don't care if it's just completely fan service. I am the fan who's being serviced, yeah? Leading into Spike just waltzing into his house, because that's just what he does. They're buddies now, kind of, in a weird and twisted way, and he just, microwaves his blood bag in the microwave while they're talking casually. Like, that's something he's done a million times. It's such a fascinating dynamic. All right, let's talk about Tillo, because I'm Team Tillo all the way, forever, OTP. I love them so bad, you guys. Every time they're on my screen, I melt a little inside. And the scene with the two of them and the kitten, first of all, stop. That kitten and the two of them, I can't handle it. It's too cute. And I thought it was really cool to have Willow sort of express her concerns about her distance to Buffy emotionally right now, because it's worth mentioning. It's definitely happening. She's not making it up. Like, they are drifting apart. And at least she's aware that it's just circumstantial for the most part. Like, they're both in relationships that are fairly new. There's a lot going on. Like, they just don't feel as close as they used to, which happens a lot when you take a friendship from high school into college. I've experienced this. Many of you, I'm sure, have experienced this. It's a very, very common, trajectory for female friendships. And I'm curious to see sort of how it evolves from here. But I like that they're having Willow vocalize these things to Tara. It shows how close their relationship is. One thing not plot related that I wanted to mention is I'm not the biggest fan of Buffy's style this season. It felt like in an attempt to make her feel much more grown up and mature. They've started putting her in like nicer clothing, more neutrals. Her hair is like super kind of traditional and kind of, you know, pretty, but like not rocking the boat in any way. She's beautiful, don't get me wrong. However, she was much more experimental with like the style and fashions of the time in high school. And there's a bit of personality lost in that. However, I will say, since I'm already in season 5, they have fixed that a little bit in season 5. Like, her wardrobe is way better in season 5 than it was at the end of season 4. Just something I noticed. Something I also took notes about is in regards to Xander and Anya at this point in the story. I've since amended my statement or my feelings on this since writing the notes for this episode, but like at this point in the story, I hate to say it, but Xander serves almost no purpose in the story. He's kind of just there. He's sort of just window dressing. He's sort of like the last regarded character. And by default and by association, so is Anya. Now, since this episode, they've had slightly more going on like in the story, which has made it more interesting. But it got to a point in season 4 where I was like, what is the point of having these characters around? Like, I just don't get it. They're not adding anything. However, I will say that like from the fight that happens at the end of this episode and into future episodes, they do have a bit more of a point. And I think like Anya's story is even more interesting than Xander's, to be honest. And so I do hope in season 5 and like beyond, they have a little bit more going on for them, or at least like the characters evolve in a way that's interesting, because right now I'm getting a little bored. And then we have Spike sowing discord on purpose, clocking everyone's tea, getting under their skin, saw Tara stroking Willow's hair and was like, I know what's going on there. I know exactly how to make this weird for everybody. And he succeeded, which we'll get to. But let's talk about Angel and Riley meeting, because that was tense. That was crazy. Buffy said, I think I'm going to get testosterone poisoning, and I have to agree with her. I don't know if I ever want to see the two of them in a room together again. I hope it never happens. Really quick, this was crazy. Hold on.
You didn't by any chance go and lose that pesky soul again, did you? Don't push me, boy. Now, what possibly could have happened with Buffy?
Woo! He said, don't push me, boy.
Oh, you really think I'm gonna let that happen? Think you're gonna stop me? I surely do.
Are they gonna fight? Or something else? No, they're fighting, actually. Anyways, actually, there's one more moment that I would rather just show you, because the look on Angel's face is absolutely priceless. When he walks by Riley in the dorm room, hold on, I'm queuing it up. Hold on. He said, don't push me, boy. Look, I love Angel and Riley. This shit kills me. They're like not good. Like either of them, they're not good. And the fight that ensues after this with Buffy being like, what the fuck is your problem actually in the hallway? She's right for that. Anyways, Angel eventually apologizes to her and is like, look, I was trying to make things better. I couldn't leave it like that. I need to apologize to you. It's so fascinating when you go back and forth between Buffy and Angel, how depending on which show you're watching, they put you in the perspective of that character, right? And they make you sympathetic to that character. So when you're watching an Angel episode and Buffy's there, you feel sympathetic to Angel. It's very strategically that way. And then when you're watching Buffy, you feel very like aligned with Buffy and you're like on her side. They're so good with it because I feel myself flip-flopping depending on whose show I'm watching. Then we arrive at Giles's home for honesty hour, apparently, where Giles is just drunk, just straight up drunk, randomly being honest and a little bit funny, I'm not gonna lie. Feeling very useless in the whole situation. And we have the fight between Willow, Xander, and Buffy, with Anya and Tara in the bathroom kind of waiting for them to be done, which I thought was a funny little aside to kind of break up how tense this argument is between the Scoobies. I had to genuinely go back just now and rewatch that scene because my notes, I was confused as hell as to what was going on. Not because I didn't get that Spike sowed discord on purpose between them. Obviously I got that. Like, all the things that they're upset about have a kernel of truth at the center, which makes the argument really interesting because there is a little bit of a truth in each of these things. However, they were greatly exaggerated by Spike to kind of purposely create an issue between all of them. However, I was like really annoyed watching this scene because I was like, and so I wrote, They go back and forth. First, she's like, you guys can't help. Then they take offense. Then she tries to explain why they can't help. Then she gets mad at them for not helping, question mark? I was like, pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. Anyways, this was Spike's fault, blah, blah, blah. So when I rewatched the scene, it was a little bit more clear to me what was going on from Buffy's POV. Like, and this has happened before. She is like, guys, I am dealing with something so much more serious than like these small petty arguments. Like I cannot put you all in harm's way like that. There, based on your skills, your skill sets, you coming with me to address this Adam creature is not helpful because one, like, I can't use you in this particular fight. And two, then I'm going to be worried about your safety and livelihoods. You need to stay home while I take care of this because I care about you as friends. But like in this case, you can't help me. And of course, they're offended by that, right? Because a lot of times in these fights, people get, by people, I mean Willow and Xander, get really selfish. I'm just going to call it what it is. They act selfish in these fights. But the end of this conversation annoys me so bad because Buffy is like, it makes sense. The whole argument makes sense until the end. And then she's like, well, I'm going to go find people I can rely on. Girl, you just spent the last 5 minutes telling them to not come and help you because they can't help. And now your parting words are, I can't rely on you guys. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm going to be honest. Either I'm missing something incredibly obvious after watching the scene twice in a row, or the end of that scene was just annoying for no reason. Sorry. Which, to their credit, like, this is often how arguments go in real life. Like, people will contradict themselves within an argument, and you're like, girl, this goes directly against what you were just saying, but okay. I've been in these arguments before. It's, if anything, much closer to how real life goes. I'm just not used to seeing that level of contradiction in like a TV show argument between people. But maybe they're like intentionally making it murky. And if that was the intention, then they reached their goal, and congratulations. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed on behalf of everybody. I need everyone to make up and be okay. Yeah. Anyways, next video, we're going to talk about episodes 21, Primeval, and 22, which is the season finale for season 4, Restless.